I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
Hello everyone, my name is Agys Riefnuandi. I'm a medical student in Pajajaran University and I'm here to talk about sleep. Now, first of all, why do I talk about sleep? Well, I've given an assignment about making a TED talk about sleep itself, and it's not just about sleep. Well, our doctor have gave us some topics about what we can choose, and it's related to sleep itself. Now, the topic that I chose was sleep and music. Now, why did I choose this? Well, I find it really interesting because music is a very, very big thing. And yeah, I think it's a really big thing, and I'm going to talk about it, and I think it's fun. And although a lot of people talk about it also, I'm going to talk about it here also. So, welcome to my TED Talk. Okay, first of all, sleep. Why is it important? Well, of course it's important. Maybe I'll talk about music first. Okay, music. Why did I choose the topic sleep and music? Well, I find it that music is a very big part of our lives. Like, it is a very, very big part of our lives. Like, it has been since the dawn of time, from the very, very first beginning. And at first it's just maybe some dude pounding rocks together to make it rhyme, and now it's a bigger thing. It's a very big thing. People listen to music everywhere, along with our development of technology. Now people can make an entire orchestra from a laptop, and that gives a perspective that music has come a long way. And now that music has come a long way, so has technology. I think that it's easier for people to access music also. Right now, people can listen to music while they're sleeping, while they're doing their work, while they're exercising, while they're doing anything basically. And me also, I also listen to music when I go to work, when I do my tasks, do my assignments, when I sleep, when I exercise, and when I sleep even. And here, I find it really interesting that music is a very big part of our lives, and even for some people, music is their life. And sleep is also a very big thing in our life because it is essential for our body to sleep. And what I find it interesting is that these two very different things, like music is a form of art, while sleep itself is a biological need. They too have some sort of correlation with each other. And I find that really interesting, and that's why I'm going to talk about it today. So, what is sleep? So before we get into music and sleep and how it correlates, let's talk about sleep itself. Like, a lot of you know what sleep is. You all need sleep. You're all human. While sleep itself, it serves as a restorative function. So it helps your body restore. It helps your body repair your damaged tissues. It helps your body regulates the fluids in itself, and it helps your body. At the end, it helps your body, and that's all you need to know, I think. Now, sleep itself, it is broken down into a few phases. Like, maybe you've known yourself that when you go to sleep, you don't automatically like that. You just go to sleep. Like that, you just go to sleep. You don't. Well, what happens is that there are a few stages of sleep. Where at the first stage is, of course, you being awake. So at first, you're going to be awake. And then second, you're going to go to this first stage of sleep where you can easily be bothered or waken up. And then second stage and third stage. And these stages are divided usually into two big names, which is called REM. You heard me right? REM, which means rapid eye movement sleep. So REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. And NonREM, which is non-REM, which is literally an RN and then REM, which means non-rapid eye movement sleep. And this itself is pretty self-explanatory, I think, as rapid eye movement means rapid eye movement, which means that, let me bring you back to how we know this, like why does it mean rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement? Do you know about EEG, or maybe it's called electroencephalogram? Now, EEG itself has a function to evaluate the electrical activity in the brain. So if you don't know, your brain is full of electrical activities because it's full of neurons and maybe. If you're a medical student, you would know. If you don't, I don't think you need to know. What you need to know is that there are some electrical activity in your brain, and if you're being recorded in an EEG or electroencephalogram, there will be some waves. Like, if you see a heart monitor, you'll see like there are some waves there. That means that if the bigger the wave, the more fluctuative the wave, it means that you're awake, like you're more aroused, you're more stressed. Now, in REM sleep, the interesting thing is that if it's recorded in an EEG, and even a scientist sees the results, and they don't know that the patient is asleep, they will think of it as someone that is awake, because that means if you're sleeping in an REM phase, or rapid eye movement sleep, that means that there's a lot of brain activity going on in your head, which means that even though you're asleep, there are a lot of brain activities. And here in REM sleep is where you dream, because you sometimes hear from a lot of people that when you dream, you don't sleep well. Like, it's not a deep sleep if you don't dream. If you dream, now this is what happens. If you dream, you're having this phase called REM phase, and at this phase, the brain activity is going up, and therefore it's easier for you to be waken up. And it's not the phase where sleep feels good. It's where you tend to be aroused. Now the next one is the non-REM sleep. So it's basically the reverse of rapid eye movement, non-rapid eye movement. So here, the EEG, or the brain waves, tend to be more linear, less fluctuative, and basically like small mountains, and there will be less fluctuation also. So here it means that have you ever heard of the term deep sleep, which means when you sleep tight and it's hard for you to be waken up? Well, that's basically NREM. And in NREM itself, it has several stages. So when you first go to sleep, you first went to N1, which is NREM stage 1. This is like the first few minutes of you going to sleep. This is still easy. It's still easy for you to be waken up. And then in N2, it's like around 20 to 30 minutes when you go to sleep. And it's you go to sleep easier, and you sleep more tighter. This is kind of like a more deeper sleep than N1, and it's harder for you to be waken up. And then the N3 is like the top phase, which is deep sleep basically, and this is where the EEG shows that your brain waves is less more linear and more small mountainy and less fluctuative than the EEG, and then the REM sleep itself. So N3 is like the deep sleep. And how this works is that when you first asleep, you go to N1, and then you go to N2, and then N3, and then REM, and then you go back to N1. So this is like a cycle going through when you go to sleep for a long time. And usually, the longer you sleep, the less the NREM phase is, and the longer the REM phase is. So that means that the longer you sleep, the easier it is for you to be waken up, which makes total sense because you're more rested. So you need to wake up eventually too. Now, if there are some things that affect sleep itself, like some things affect you to be easier to sleep or to be easier to be woken up. Now, this usually affects these two, the NREM and the REM sleeps. They affect those two things. Now, how can music help you fall asleep? And can music actually help you fall asleep? Now, let me give you the answer right now. The answer is yes, both subjectively or objectively. Because subjectively, there are a lot of observations done to human patients, where a lot of them thinks that listening to music actually helps them fall asleep and helps them stay asleep. And this is subjective because this is based on what they think. And they did do an objective testing by seeing their EEG, like I said before. And from that test, it is declared that when someone listens to music like 90 minutes prior before they sleep, they tend to have smaller N1 phase and longer N3 phase or N3 stage. So, which means that when you fall asleep, the N1 phase is only takes like maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes or like just a very few minutes. And then when you go to N3 sleep, which is the deep sleep, you get longer deep sleep, which means that you sleep better and you have better sleep efficiency, which is a good thing. So here I am answering the question: Does music help you sleep? Yes, it does. Now, maybe you're here to only hear the answer for that, but I can tell you how it happens. Now, how does music let you fall asleep? Well, actually, music affects a lot of things. Music itself is basically just sound waves. Now, the sound waves enter your ear and then they get translated into your brain through these electrical circuits. Now, what that does is basically, at the end of the day, at the very end, is making you more relaxed, which makes you feel more at ease, therefore making it easier for you to sleep. That's the easier thing. That's the easiest explanation. Now, but your body is very complex, so that's not the whole story. There's a lot of fillers in there. Now, music itself, first, it affects the hormone called cortisol. Now, what does cortisol do? Maybe a lot of you medical students know, maybe non-medical students also know that cortisol essentially is a stress hormone. So with music, it helps decrease the cortisol in your body, which eventually means that your body will, your mind, your body will have less stress, and at the end of the day, you'll feel, more at ease, more relaxed, and therefore make it easier for you to sleep. Now, aside from cortisol, music also helps you release dopamine. Now, what is dopamine? Maybe you've heard of it too. Dopamine releases pleasure. That's it. Dopamine releases pleasure. So when you eat good food, when you exercise good, when you have sex, it will release dopamine and you'll feel pleasure, like a lot of pleasure. Now, music also gives this sense of pleasure too. Like maybe some of you can relate when you feel sad, or when you feel like, you want to party, or I don't know, when you want to feel happy, sometimes you listen to a happy music, and it also helps release the dopamine in your brain and it gives you pleasure. Now, how does this help you sleep? Because dopamine, essentially, it helps you stay awake because it gives you pleasure. So it actually doesn't help you sleep. But in the case of how it helps you sleep is that in people with sleep deprivations or people with insomnia, this is usually caused by extreme pain. Now, for example, people with cancer patients, people with diabetes, people with, that's the one. Maybe from what we can relate to is that people that has a toothache, they tend to be harder, it's very hard for them to be able to sleep because of the pain. Now, what music does is that it helps release dopamine, and therefore this dopamine relieves the pain, and therefore making it less painful for you. Like it's kind of like a painkiller, like a very small painkiller, and therefore making it for you easier for you to sleep. And then the next one is that it also soothes the autonomic nervous system. Now, how does it actually release the autonomic nervous system? Well, the answer is that let me first explain what autonomic nervous system is. So the ANS essentially controls what you don't usually control, like your heartbeat, your lungs, your digestive system. And by soothing the ANS or autonomic nervous system, your heart beats slower, your lungs breathe slower, and then your blood pressure lowers itself. That means that you get more relaxed, and at the end of the day, it's easier for you to sleep, and that's how it helps. And at the end, and the last effect and how it helps you sleep is that a lot of people live near highways or near train tracks or even near an airport, and therefore when they go to sleep, it's hard for them to stay asleep because of these external sounds that that bothers them while they're sleeping. And how music helps is that music covers all of these sounds, and it's easier for you to sleep. And at the end of the day, it covers all of these disturbing sounds, and it gives you the music that you like and that relaxes you, and it helps you sleep at the end and helps your sleep efficiency go higher. And that is how music affects sleep. Now, what kind of music that affects sleep itself? At the end, it depends on the person. Like, I like rock music, maybe you like pop music, K-pop, I don't know, anything that makes you feel more relaxed is the best music. But there's in therapeutic music, there's usually some sort of criteria, and it's usually around like 60 to 80 beats per minute. And that's so softer music, slower music tends to help you better sleeping. So yeah, that's the answer for you. But at the end, it depends on you, on what you like. And then so the answer is that music can help you fall asleep better. And the question is, can you is it an actual answer? Like, how do I make this as a definitive answer to how I sleep better? So music can be part of your sleep hygiene. And if you don't know what sleep hygiene is, essentially it's like a hygiene for your sleep, kind of like the quality of your sleep. What helps the quality of your sleep to be better? And how music can be a great way for you to be included in your sleep hygiene is that first, make it a habit. So before you sleep, you go listen to your music, and then at the end of the day, after you've done listening, you're tired, you want to go to sleep, you just go to sleep. So make it a habit every day. Find enjoyable songs. Like I said earlier, it depends on you. You find what songs fit you best and relaxes you the best. And then avoid songs that cause emotional reactions. Why? Because for me, I have my own playlist that makes me sad or makes me happy, and this kind of makes me want to cry or makes me want to be happy. So pick songs that don't emotionally trigger you so that you can focus on sleeping. And last but not least, be careful with your headphones, like I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing headphones or earbuds, and this can cause damage to your ear canal when you sleep with its volume too high, or when you sleep with it. And it can also build up earwax, and you don't want that. So be careful with your earphones. It's better to use headphones that don't get into your ear like this, but at the end it's better for you to not sleep with it and just sleep. And if you want to go to sleep, you just take them off, because it's not going to be good for you especially if its volume is very high. And that's all from me, I guess. That's all from me from how sleep affects music, and I find it really interesting. I think it's really, really interesting, and I think it's a fun experience for me to know that music, the thing that I love, have a good effect on my sleeping habits, and it can help me sleep better. And I hope this TED Talk also helped you too. That's all from me today. Riefnuandi signing out. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.